Hello everyone. This is part 2 about the worship of women over 30,000 years ago. 30,000, not 30 years. Because I know in my first video, I keep saying 30 years instead of 30,000. It's 30,000. If you see the text, you're going to know that I wrote 30,000 for some people that will be confused. Okay, over 30,000 years ago, women were worshipped as a living deity. Just like deities, you go to several altars, shrine to worship a deity, to give offering, to give sacrifices. People used to worship women. Men used to serve and worship women. Women were so important in those ancient times. They used to keep the community together. They used to have important roles. They used to be king. Women used to be king too. Yeah. Because some people think the women can never be a king, can never be a leader. No, in the ancient time, women used to rule. And men used to worship women. And when invasion came, because there was the Indo-Europeans invaded those countries, majority of those countries, those communities that used to worship women because they had their own concepts of how God should be. They want to rule. And you know how invasion happens. You're not prepared. They come and unlife everybody, burn down all the shrines, take over and introduce their own mindset, what they want, how they want the world to be. That is how those shrines and that worship was eliminated. But in some countries, even to today, they still worship women. But it's not much minority of those countries, they still worship women. And in the Western world, although they don't worship women like in the spiritual way, but they still have honor for women. They respect women a lot. And women have more upper hand than men, and when it comes to family or court case or, in the societies, they have a way of giving honor to women, respecting women, So anyway, so in African spirituality, they said women shouldn't do some things. And some people keep thinking that women, some men too, they think that it's because women are inferior. They think that it's because they are superior than women because of the introduction of religion. Is when religion came that they removed women from power and placed the men. So now everything is men. Even though women are existing, you have mother, you have sister, you have grandparents, you have daughters, and they don't include the women in the religion functions. Even in the Bible, they remove women in important roles. Everything is man. Common sense should have told you that something is wrong, something is missing. But people don't question anything anymore. They just follow like sheep, So this is why there is imbalance in the world, because there is no balance of the feminine and the masculine energy. Okay? So in African spirituality, I'm going to go through the list of some restriction that is placed there. Because people lack knowledge. They think because women are not supposed to do this, it's an abomination. No, it's not abomination. It's just for the men to serve women. For you people to honor women. That is why it is like that. Otherwise, the women that are doing it and people are complaining, why didn't the God unlife the people? Why didn't the God reject the offering or the sacrifices? It's because Spirit did not put those law. It's men that put those law. That's why even though women go and do those things that they said they put rules that women shouldn't do, the women will still get results. And the Spirit are not even stopping the women, because in the spiritual realm, women are very powerful, and some spirit prefer women to do some things. But because the men are in the supremacy, they are ruling everything on this physical world. They say that everything should be them. But it's not. When you are a spiritual person, you should do consultation with Spirit to find out how it should be done. Not the physical. You shouldn't be following the physical law. So anyway, I'm just going through some lists that I wrote here so that I don't forget. One, in some cultures, not all cultures, because if it's a mosque that is banned, that is forbidden, it should be all over Africa. But it's only some cultures that these are affected, showing that if other cultures can do it, it means that it's not forbidden. It depends on who is ruling your culture, the mindset of your culture. That's how they place the restriction in women in African spirituality. These are spiritually called women I'm talking about. People that are called to serve, and they put some rules on them. They are limiting their ability. They are limiting how they should function because of religion, because of that religious mindset of men ruling. It was not always like that. It's not like that. If you want to get good results, you must let the person to function in their fullness. So anyway, in some religion, they say women are not allowed to feed their ancestors. Women are not allowed to feed their ancestor. You know, some cultures, they will tell you that women are not allowed to feed personal spirit guide. You know, those spirits that are with you 24 hours, that women are not allowed to feed this. Only men. You see where the religion is coming. The male supremacy is coming. And in some culture, they will say women should not feed deities. Why should a woman be unliving an animal when a man is there? This is how to honor women, because it's a hard job. Those jobs, you're supposed to do it, you know, for the women, to make the task easier for the women. Doesn't mean that she's inferior. You're just serving women, you're honoring women. That's why those rules are there. In some cultures, they will say women shouldn't break kola nuts in the presence of the men. Because men are supposed to serve women exactly the same. Doesn't mean that women shouldn't do it. If it's an abomination, it means that women shouldn't do it at all, even though the men are not there. But when the men are not there, you can do it. Meaning, it's for the men to serve women. But when you don't know history, when you don't know history, then you obviously lack knowledge. It's like when the slave trade was happening, and somebody said that history does not exist at all. Our ancestors were never enslaved. There was never colonization. That is when they are deceiving you. But when you know history, it used to be like this before. Then you know. This is just how it is in these spiritual functions. Okay, so some people will say women that are in the that are having their menstrual cycle are not supposed to do some certain function until they are in the menopause. I mean, it's not like you shouldn't do it when you're in the monthly cycle. It means they are putting a rule that as long as you are in that age that you're still menstruating, that you shouldn't do some function at all until you are maybe age like grandma or something. Yeah. No, okay? The only reason why these rules on women is because of the power we carry during our cycles. So I already talked about that in the video, how women should avoid some sacred places so that they don't limit the vibration of that place. Doesn't mean that they shouldn't, because they are very powerful when they are on their cycle. And some cultures, they will tell you that women are not allowed to install deities. Hey! That women are not allowed to do all these things by themselves. A man must do that. It's because they see it in the ancient time as a tax. So why should a woman be doing all this hard job when a man is there? Men are supposed to do it for us. And we are supposed to utter the utterance, you know. Those hard job, those things that they think that is hard job. That's why you have your masculine energy to make our life easy. You know, we have the feminine, we need to have soft life, not hard life. Doesn't mean that we are not able to do it. When a man is not there, a woman can do all these things. And if the woman does not want a man to do it because they don't trust the men, they can do it themselves. Because in some culture, they are still doing it. All these restrictions are based on, it depends on the culture that you are. So you have to find out how it is practiced in your culture. But just know that because it's practiced like this in your culture doesn't mean that it's forbidden in the spiritual realm. No. So some things that is limiting you, what you should do is go and consult your spirit. Because you're supposed to work according to how your spirit wants, not how some people are giving you rules and regulation. Okay? This is just, and some people will say a woman who is unmarried should not install her spirit. So in their mindset, they think that all women that are called must marry. In fact, a lot of us we will not marry. You know, a lot of people that are called will not marry. Because that is what we have in our destiny contract, not to marry in this lifetime, just to serve the gods and the humanity. And you want to tell a woman like that not to go and install her spirit until she marries. That means she will not be able to answer her call at all in this lifetime. A woman who is unmarried can install her spirit either in her parents' house or in her private home. And that can be moved, is movable. You know, you can have something that you can move when you decide to marry. And some people don't want to marry at all because it distracts this spiritual work. So there are some things which I wrote, which I'm going to go through. And some people will say when you marry, you have to submit your, you don't have to have your own installation. You're supposed to take your husband's own, even though you're more supernaturally more powerful than your husband. You're just submission. That is the main supremacy we are talking about. That is, you're going to born to fail in that because everyone is different. You know, so women are not allowed to carry staff of authority. Some people